Finland.
Table of contents, Finland.
All about Finland, with visiting and touring information, geography, history, attractions, and other points of interest.
Dr. Sydney Soclof. Dr. Sydney22@gmail.com. 2022. Narration by Dr. Sydney Soclof.
Zoe Phonemes.
And Nathan Koltov. For a more complete discussion of YouTube navigation, please go to this video using the link here.
Finland.
The Republic of Finland.
This is the Finland national anthem. This is the flag of Finland in Finnish. The country's name is Suomi. The flag of Finland, or Siniristä lippu, dates from the beginning of the 20th century, and is modeled on the Danish flag, the Dannebrog.
The flag has a blue cross on a white background. The blue represents lakes and sky, and the white represents snow and the white nights of the Finnish summer.
This is the official state flag and coat of arms of Finland.
Finland is usually considered to be a Scandinavian country, along with Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. However, linguistically, and to some extent culturally, it differs from those three countries.
Finland shares a long border with Russia on the east, and for a long time was under the rule of Russia.
Finland shares a border with Sweden on the west, and also for a time was under the rule of that country.
Finland shares a border with Norway on the north.
Finland has a long coastline on the west, with the Gulf of Bothnia between Finland and Sweden.
To the south is the Gulf of Finland between Finland and Estonia, and a small part of Russia near St. Petersburg.
About 1/3 of the territory of Finland, and most of the Lapland, or province of Lappi, lies north of the Arctic Circle.
The province of Lappi is part of Lapland that also encompasses parts of Sweden, Norway, and Russia.
About 3,000 Lapps live in the Finnish part of Lapland and they speak their own distinctive language.
The capital and largest city of Finland is Helsinki on the Gulf of Finland.
The great majority of the population of Finland live in the southern coastal region near the Gulf of Finland. The major population areas are around Helsinki and Turku. Relatively few people live in the frigid northern part of the country.
The largest cities in Finland are Helsinki 525,000, Espoo 191,000, Tampere 183,000, and Turku 109,000. With the exception of Tampere, these are all on the southern coast.
How big is Finland?
Finland is very slightly larger than the U.S. state of New Mexico.
Here is a comparison of the areas of the Scandinavian countries in square kilometers. We see that Finland, Norway and Sweden are all about the same size, but that Denmark is very much smaller. Finland is just a little bit larger than Norway in area, and somewhat smaller than Sweden.
Now the Netherlands and the United Kingdom are also included for purposes of comparison.
Chapter 3. The population of Finland.
Finland has a population of 5.2 million, about the same as Denmark and Norway, and about half that of Sweden.
The population of Finland at 5.2 million is just a little bit less than the U.S. state of Maryland at 5.3 million, and a little bit more than Arizona, which has a population of 5.1 million.
Here, the Netherlands, the UK, and the US have been included for comparison.
Finland, along with Norway and Sweden, has a small population density, especially when compared with Denmark, which is by far the most densely populated of the Scandinavian countries.
Here is a comparison of the population density of several countries. We see that Finland is very sparsely populated as compared to Denmark, the Netherlands, and the UK.
We see that the population density of Finland is about half that of the United States.
Here is a physical, or relief map of Europe.
Looking at the Scandinavian countries, we see that most of Norway and Sweden are indeed mountainous. Finland, however, is mostly flat, especially in the south and east.
Overall, Finland is fairly flat, except for some hilly regions in the northwest along the border with Sweden, and in the northeast along the border with Russia.
The southern two-thirds of the country was heavily scoured by the glaciers during the Ice Age, leaving behind innumerable lakes.
The glaciers left behind a flat landscape with an estimated 200,000 lakes, 180,000 islands, numerous rivers, and extensive areas of marshland.
The inland lakes occupy 1/10 of Finland's total area.
3/4 of the total land area of Finland is forested, with pine, spruce, and birch being the predominant species. Chapter 4. What time is it in Helsinki?
Here are the time zones and the time in various places in terms of standard time, not daylight savings time.
Here are the European time zones. Finland is at GMT +2, which is 2 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time.
When it's 12 noon in London, it is 2 p.m. in Helsinki.
When it's 12 noon in London, it is 1 p.m. in Berlin and 2 p.m. in Helsinki, Finland, and 3 p.m. in St. Petersburg.
Chapter 5. The language of Finland.
Here are the languages of the Nordic or Scandinavian countries. Danish, Norwegian and Swedish are very closely related to each other, but Finnish is from a completely different language family.
There are 2 official languages in Finland. Finnish and Swedish. 92% of the population speak Finnish, and 5.5% speak Swedish.
Other minority languages include Russian and Estonian. To the north, in Lapland, are found the Sami, numbering less than 7,000, who like the Finns speak a Finno-Ugric language Sami.
This map shows the language families in Europe. The area of the Indo-European languages is shown in green. We see that it covers almost all of Europe. The few exceptions are the Basque language in the Pyrenees in the north of Spain, the Finno-Ugric language, spoken in Hungary, Estonia and Finland, and the Turkic language of Turkey.
The Finno-Ugric group of languages can be divided into 2 subgroups, Finnic and Ugric. The Finno-Ugric group of languages can be divided into 2 subgroups, Finnic and Ugric. These languages have about 24 million speakers distributed in enclaves scattered in a territory that stretches from Norway east to the Ob River of Siberia, and south to Hungary. A modified Roman alphabet is used for writing Finnish.
Here is the Uralic language group. Note that in addition to Finnish and Estonian, it also includes Hungarian.
This is the Finno-Ugric branch of the Uralic language group.
The North Finnic language group branches into the Balto-Finnic subgroup including Finnish and Estonian, and also is the source for the Sami, or Lap language of Lapland.
Here is an example of numbers from 1 to 10 in the various Scandinavian languages.
We see that Norwegian, Danish, Swedish, and Icelandic are all very similar, and actually not much different from English.
We also note that the numbers in Finnish, which is not in the Indo-European language family, are considerably different, and bear little or no resemblance to numbers in the other languages.
Here 2 other Germanic languages have been added to the table: Dutch and German. We see a strong resemblance among all of these Germanic languages.
We again note that Finnish is not a Germanic, or even an Indo-European language.
Here are the numbers 1 through 5.
And here are the numbers 5 through 10.
Chapter 6. The History of Finland.
At various times in history the Scandinavian countries were under various unions and joint rulers, as this chart shows.
The Scandinavian peoples have close cultural and historical ties, and except for the Finns spoke very similar languages. As a result, there were at various times attempts made to unify these countries.
However, differences that did exist in terms of geography, economic life, and outlook made a permanent union difficult.
In the 12th through the 14th centuries, Finland was part of the Kingdom of Sweden.
Finland was included in the Kalmar Union with the other Scandinavian countries in the 15th century.
In the 16th through the 18th centuries, Finland was again part of the Kingdom of Sweden.
Then in the 19th century, Sweden gave up Finland to Russia, and in exchange acquired Norway from Denmark.
Finland became an autonomous Grand Duchy under Tsar Alexander I in 1809.
Following the Russian Revolution in 1917, Finland for the first time emerged as an independent country.
Finland was defeated by the Soviet Union in the Russo-Finnish War, or Winter War, during World War II. In the period 1939 to 1940,
Finland was allied with Nazi Germany and won back its lost territory in 1941 during World War II. Later in the war, Finland was defeated by the Soviet Union and again lost territory.
By the peace treaty ending World War II in 1945, Finland ceded 12% of its territory to the Soviet Union. Finland was required to pay war reparations totaling $226 million over 8 years.
The debt was to be paid in wood products, cable, ships, and metal goods. To fulfill this obligation, Finland's shipbuilding and metal industries were greatly increased. Finland's debt was fully paid by 1952.
From 1945 to the present, Finland has made a remarkable transformation from a farm and forest economy to a diversified modern industrial economy. Per capita income is now on a level with that of Western Europe.
In 1999, Finland, as a member of the European Union, joined the Euro system.
This shows the land use in Finland. Water, 9.4%. Lands under cultivation, 8%. And forests, 72%.
Although traditionally an agricultural country, Finland accelerated the pace of its industrialization after World War II. By the end of the 20th century, manufacturing, services, and trade and transportation were the largest segments of the economy, while agriculture, plus forestry and fishing, account for less than 10% of employment and GDP.
Finland has a highly industrialized, largely free market economy, with per capita output roughly that of the UK, France, Germany, and Italy. The Finnish standard of living is high.
The key economic sector is manufacturing, principally the wood, metals, engineering, telecommunications, and electronics industries. Trade is important, with exports equaling almost 1/3 of the GDP.
A major success story in Finland is Nokia, a world leader in cell phones.
Nokia leads as well in other digital technologies, including telecommunications networks, wireless data solutions, and multimedia terminals.
Except for timber and several minerals, Finland depends on imports of raw materials, energy, and some components for manufactured goods.
Chapter 7. Helsinki. Helsinki is the capital of Finland. Because of Helsinki's northerly location, winter nights are long.
A special feature of Helsinki's summers, however, is the period of white nights in late June.
When, because the city is so close to the Arctic Circle, only a brief period of twilight intervenes between sunset and sunrise.
Winters are long and dark, with just 7 hours of daylight on December 21st, compared to 17.5 hours of daylight on June 21st.
Helsinki is the most northerly of the continental European capitals. It is about 100 miles west, and slightly to the north of St. Petersburg, Russia.
Helsinki is also very slightly further north than Oslo in Norway, and Stockholm in Sweden.
Here are the 4 largest cities of Finland. Helsinki is at 525,000, Espoo 191,000, Tampere 183,000, and Turku 110,000.
Helsinki is called Helsingfors in Swedish, which is spoken by about 6% of the population of Finland.
Helsinki at 525,000 population, together with neighboring Espoo with 191,000, constitute by far the largest metropolitan area in Finland.
The Helsinki-Espoo metropolitan area population is 1.1 million.
Helsinki is on a peninsula that is fringed by fine natural harbors and protrudes into the Gulf of Finland.
This is the Helsinki area and the Gulf of Finland.
Helsinki was founded in 1550 by King Gustav Vasa of Sweden.
Helsinki was intended to compete with the city of Reval, now Tallinn in Estonia, which lies opposite Helsinki on the southern shore of the Gulf of Finland. The distance from between Tallinn and Helsinki across the Gulf of Finland is only 82 kilometers, or 51 miles.
Finland was then controlled by the Swedes, who gave the town the name of Helsingfors.
In 1809 Finland was ceded by Sweden to Russia, and in 1812 the Russian Tsar Alexander I moved the capital of the Grand Duchy of Finland from Turku, or Abo, to Helsinki.
This shows the location of the cruise port and the area and the vicinity of Helsinki.
This shows the location of the cruise port in the center of Helsinki.
This shows the city center of Helsinki.
This is a map of central Helsinki.
Helsinki is the leading seaport and industrial city of Finland. Industries include food and metal processing, printing, textiles, and clothing.
More than half of Finland's total imports pass through the port of Helsinki. However, only a small proportion of the national exports pass through Helsinki, as the largest export ports are elsewhere along the Finnish coast.
Helsinki is called the White City of the North for its white buildings, and not for its weather.
Winters are cold, but not Arctic, and the summers are mild.
This shows the location of some of the principal sites in Helsinki, including the Helsinki City Tourist Office, Senate Square, Lutheran Cathedral, Market Square, Ouspensky Cathedral, the Esplanade, and the railway station.
Here is a fuller listing of points of interest in Helsinki. 1. Helsinki City Tourist Office. 2. Finnish Tourist Board. 3. Senate Square and Lutheran Cathedral. 4. University Main Building. 5. City Hall. 6. City Museum. 7. Market Square. 8. Old Market Hall. 9. Presidential Palace. 10. Uspensky Cathedral. 11. Kanava Terminal. 12. Katarzynica Terminal. 15. Makasiini Terminal. 21. Railway Station. 22. Ateneum. 23. National Theatre. 24. Swedish Theatre. 25. Flea Market. 27. Lasipalazzi Building. 28. Main Post Office.
Here are more points of interest in Helsinki. 29. Kiasma 30. Bus Station 31. Tinnispalazzi Building 32. Natural History Museum 33. Helsinki Art Exhibition Hall 34. Amos Anderson Art Museum 35. Timpiliaukio Church 36. Finlandia Hall 37. City Museum 38. National Museum 39. Parliament Building and 50. University Botanical Garden.
In the center of the old city is Senate Square, one of the main tourist attractions of Helsinki. The Senate Square, in Finnish, Senatintori, and in Swedish, Senatstorget, was designed by the architect Carl Ludvig Engel as a unique allegory of the political, religious, scientific and commercial powers in the center of Helsinki.
Carl Ludvig Engel, 1778–1840, was a German architect known for his empire style. He had a great impact on the architecture of Finland, responsible for all key public buildings throughout the country.
Engel helped rebuild Helsinki as the new capital of the Grand Duchy of Finland, including most of the buildings around the Senate Square.
The Palace of the Council of State was completed on the eastern side of the Senate Square in 1822. It served as the Senate of Finland until 1907, when the Eduskunta building was completed.
The main University of Helsinki building, on the opposite side of the Senate Square, was constructed in 1832.
This shows the location of the points of interest around Senate Square, including the Lutheran Cathedral, the statue of Tsar Alexander II, the University of Helsinki, and the National Library.
The Helsinki City Hall is near the Senate Square, and next to the Market Square.
This shows the location of the Helsinki City Hall with respect to the Senate Square and the Market Square.
The Vanhakauppahalli, or Old Market Hall, opened in 1889, and is the oldest food market hall in Helsinki. It is located next to the Helsinki Market Square.
Merchants sell everything from cheese, fish, shellfish, vegetable, fruit, and cakes, to spices, coffee, and tea. The Old Market Hall is very popular with tourists, especially in the summer.
This shows the location of the Old Market Hall on the Helsinki waterfront near the Market Square.
This is the Senate Square in Helsinki City Hall.
This is another view of the Senate Square in Helsinki City Hall.
This is the Helsinki City Hall. The buildings were designed in a stately neoclassic style by the German architect Carl Ludvig Engel, and built in the first half of the 19th century.
This is the Helsinki City Hall.
This is the statue of Emperor Alexander II in the center of the Senate Square.
This is the Tsar Alexander II monument.
The Helsinki City Hall is the central administrative building of Helsinki.
The Helsinki City Hall was completed in 1833, originally as a hotel designed by Carl Ludvig Engel. The city purchased the building in 1901 to serve as the City Hall.
This is the Lutheran Cathedral in Helsinki. Around the square are the Lutheran Cathedral, the headquarters and library buildings of University of Helsinki, and government offices.
The Helsinki Cathedral is one of the most prominent symbols for the city of Helsinki. The cathedral was begun in 1818 and completed in 1840.
This is the Helsinki City Hall, Market Square, and the Lutheran Cathedral in the background on Senate Square.
The Russian Orthodox Cathedral is also known as Uspensky Cathedral. It was opened in 1868.
The Uspensky Cathedral is an Eastern Orthodox cathedral dedicated to the Dormition of the Theotokos, the Virgin Mary. Its name comes from the Old Church Slavonic word uspeni, which denotes the Dormition.
This shows the location of the Uspensky Cathedral with respect to the Senate Square and the Market Square.
The cathedral was designed by the Russian architect Alexei Gornostayev, 1808–1862, and built after his death in 1862–1868.
This is the main cathedral of the Finnish Orthodox Church in the Diocese of Helsinki. It is claimed that the Uspensky Cathedral is the largest Orthodox church in Western Europe.
The Market Square, Kauppatoori in Finnish, and Salatorget in Swedish, is a central square in Helsinki, and one of the most famous marketplaces and tourist attractions in the city.
This is the Market Square, and the Uspensky Cathedral in the distance.
From spring to autumn, the Market Square is bustling with activity with vendors selling fresh Finnish food and souvenirs.
There are also many outdoor cafes at the square. Some cafes also provide meat pastries, lihapiirakka in Finnish, a local specialty.
This is a view along the Esplanade.
This is a busy part of central Helsinki where the Esplanade intersects the main street Mannerheimintie.
The Esplanade consists of a park in the center and parallel one-way streets on its sides.
The big green area between the two streets is very active in summer, where many Finns come to have a picnic. The park was originally opened in 1812.
This is a view along the Esplanade.
This is another view along the Esplanade.
Kyösti Kallio was the fourth president of Finland from 1937 to 1940. He served as prime minister 4 times, and as speaker of the parliament 6 times.
Mannerheimintie, or in Swedish, Mannerheimvägen, is the major business street in Helsinki. It is named after the Finnish military leader and statesman, Carl Gustav Emil Mannerheim.
Mannerheimintie is the most famous street in Helsinki. It was originally named Hekinkatu, Swedish, Henriksgatan, after Robert Henrik Rebinder, but was renamed after the Winter War. The change of name was also suitable due to Mannerheim having paraded along that road during the Finnish Civil War, after German forces allied with Mannerheim's Finnish forces had retaken the city. That event is also portrayed in the statue of Mannerheim sitting horseback.
Many famous buildings are located on or near Mannerheimintie, besides the Swedish Theatre and the Stocksman department store. These include the House of Parliament, the main post office, the Kyasma Modern Art Museum, the Finlandia Hall, the National Museum, and the Helsinki Opera House.
This shows the location of some of the principal sites along Mannerheimintie, including the Parliament Building, National Museum, City Museum, and Finlandia Hall.
This shows Mannerheimintie near the intersection of the Esplanade with the Swedish Theatre and the Stocksman department store.
The Mannerheim statue is located along the Mannerheimintie, just outside the Modern Arts Museum Kyasma.
The Swedish Theatre is a Swedish language at the end of Esplanade where it reaches Mannerheimintie. It was the first national theatre of Finland.
The Stockman department store is a major department store in the city center. It is one of many department stores owned by the Stockmann Corporation.
About 17 million customers visit the store annually. And it is the largest department store in Finland. And also the largest department store in the Nordic countries in terms of area and sales.
Stockmann has all the internationally recognized luxury brands and enjoys a reputation as the primary high-end department store in Finland.
The food and beverage department, located at the basement level, is renowned for the quality and choice of its foodstuffs.
The Helsinki Central Railway Station is the central point of public transport in the Helsinki area. The station opened in 1862 and is now used by approximately 200,000 passengers per day, making it Finland's most visited building.
The Helsinki Central Railway Station serves as the point of origin for trains in the local commuter rail network, as well as for a large proportion of long-distance trains in Finland. The station also has the busiest metro station in Helsinki.
This is the Helsinki waterfront, showing the Market Square and City Hall, with the Senate Square and Lutheran Cathedral in the background.
This is a Helsinki night scene.
The Parliament Building of Finland was constructed from 1926 to 1931.
The Parliament Building has been the scene of many key moments in the nation's political life, especially during the Winter War and continuation war of World War II.
Part of Helsinki's beautiful architecture is the National Museum on Mannerheimintie. It has exhibits about Finnish history from the Iron Age up to the present.
The National Museum contains a comprehensive collection of material on the culture and ethnography of Finland.
Particularly notable is the Finno-Ugrian collection, with traditional costumes and objects of everyday use. Various displays also document the development of Finland into a modern state.
Finlandia Hall is a concert hall and conference and event center. It was designed by Alvar Aalto and completed in 1971.
This shows Mannerheimintie with the location of the Finlandia Hall, the National Museum, Parliament Building, Kiasma Modern Art Museum, and the railway station in the distance.
This shows Mannerheimintie with the Finlandia Hall and the National Museum.
This is the Finlandia Hall.
The main features of the building's exterior are the great horizontal mass of the building proper and the towering auditorium that rises above it. Notable also is the exterior cladding, done in Carrara marble.
A good way for first-time visitor to see Helsinki is by way of the hop-on hop-off bus. One such bus route is the City Sightseeing Helsinki. The buses come by every 20 to 30 minutes, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Commentary is available in 10 languages.
The City Sightseeing hop-on hop-off bus takes 90 minutes for the entire loop through Helsinki, with 15 stops where you can get off, and then reboard another bus later on.
This is a list of stops on the City Sightseeing hop-on hop-off bus route.
Another hop-on hop-off bus line is the red buses of the Royal Line Helsinki bus in both tour.
Red buses have 20 stops, and buses that come by every 20 minutes.
A combination ticket is available that includes the Royal Line sightseeing cruise. It is a 45-minute cruise that departs from the Market Square.
Timpiiliukio Church is a Lutheran church excavated directly into solid rock. The church opened in 1969, and is also known as the Church of the Rock and Rock Church. It is one of the main attractions in Helsinki.
The church hall is covered with a dome, lined with copper, and supported on the rock walls by reinforced concrete beams. The interior walls are of rugged rock and rubble wall.
The Rock Church is the most important architectural site in Helsinki, and has been mentioned in over 200 architecture journals.
The dominant figure in Finnish music during the first half of the 20th century was Jan Sibelius, the country's best-known composer, who brought Finnish music into the repertoire of concert halls worldwide.
The Finnish composer, Jan Sibelius, 1865 to 1957, together with Norway's Edvard Grieg, are the most prominent and popular composers to have emerged from the Scandinavian countries.
Sibelius's violin concerto and some smaller works, such as the symphonic poem Finlandia, have also become staples of the orchestral repertoire.
His music is quintessentially the product of the natural landscapes, physical, ethnic, historical and political, of his native country.
The monument of the life and music of Sibelius stands in a park bearing his name. The monument itself was controversial when it was built in the 1960s.
The sculptured likeness of Sibelius was added on the demand of a committee that didn't understand the meaning of the monument as originally designed.
The ever-changing shape, the way it takes on the color of its environment, and its accessibility, form the perfect description of the man and his music.
The hollow tubes are open on both ends, and some are open on the sides as well.
The Sibelius Monument is in Sibelius Park in the Tunnula district of Helsinki. It was finished in 1967 amid some controversy for being non-figurative.
Kaivopuisto is Helsinki's oldest and best-known park. It is surrounded by embassies and villas, and the nearby sea, rock cliffs and green areas offer many opportunities to relax and enjoy the outdoors.
This is a map of central Helsinki, shown the Gulf of Finland, and Kaivopuisto Park.
This shows Kaivopuisto and city center of Helsinki.
Mariehamn.
Mariehamn, in Finnish, Mariehamn, is the capital of Åland, an autonomous territory under Finnish sovereignty. The population is 11,000.
Åland is an archipelago in the Gulf of Bothnia, halfway between Sweden and Finland. Though it is officially an autonomous region of Finland, the island group has strong cultural ties with Sweden. Until the early years of the 19th century, Åland was a part of the Swedish kingdom, and Swedish is still the language spoken in Åland today.
The Åland Islands, Swedish, Åland, Finnish, Ahvenanmaa, form an archipelago in the Baltic Sea. Situated at the entrance to the Gulf of Bothnia, they form an autonomous, demilitarized, monolingually Swedish-speaking administrative province, region and historical province of Finland. It is the smallest province of Finland, comprising 0.5% of Finland's population and 0.49% of land area.
The islands consist of the main island Åland, where 90% of the population resides, in an archipelago to the east that consists of over 6,500 skerries and islands. Åland is separated from the coast of Sweden by 40 kilometers, or 25 miles of open water to the west.
Mariehamn is the seat of the government and parliament of Åland, and 40% of the population of the Åland Islands live in the city.
Mariehamn is a mainly Swedish-speaking town, and around 90% of the inhabitants speak it as their native language. As well as the seat of the government of Åland, the town is the cultural and economic heart of Åland.
Mariehamn was named after Maria Alexandrovna, the Empress Consort of Alexander II of Russia.
Mariehamn was founded in 1861. It is on a peninsula, with two important harbors, one located on the western shore, and one on the eastern shore.
This is the Mariehamn East Harbor.
This is the Mariehamn East Harbor.
The Western Harbor is an important international harbor, with daily traffic to Sweden and mainland Finland.
This is the western harbor of Mariehamn.
This is a map showing Mariehamn and the eastern and western harbors.
This is a view of Mariehamn and the eastern and western harbors.
This shows the location of the Åland Maritime Museum and the museum ship Palmern.
Åland and Mariehamn have a long heritage in shipping. The Palmern Museum ship is anchored in the western harbor.
The Palmern Museum is located in the unique four-masted sailing vessel that was named the Palmern.
Built in Glasgow, Scotland. The Palmern was launched in 1903 and 1923. She was purchased by Gustav Ericsson in Mariehamn. The ship mainly carried wheat between Australia and England, until 1939 when World War II broke out.
Since 1957 the Palmern has been moored next to the Åland Maritime Museum in the western harbor of Mariehamn.
The Åland Maritime Museum is located next to the Palmern and preserves memories of the sailing ships. The eastern harbor features one of the largest marinas in Scandinavia. The famous Dutch steamer, Jan Sibelius, can also be found here.
Mariehamn features several buildings designed by Finnish architect Lars Sonck, who moved to Åland as a child. Buildings designed by him include the Church of Mariehamn, 1927, the main building of the Åland Maritime College, 1927, and the Town Hall, 1939.
The Åland Museum exhibits the history of Åland from prehistoric times up to the present day. The Åland Art Museum displays pictures by both old and young Åland artists. And the Mariehamn Gallery at the Western Harbor has a model of Mariehamn in the 1920s with its wooden houses.
This is a view of Mariehamn.
Chapter 8. The Money of Finland.
Finland is a member of the European Union and the Euro system.
Currency exchange rates can change daily. For the latest exchange rate, click on this icon.
Currently, the US dollar and the euro are very close to being equal in value.
Chapter 9. The climate of Helsinki.
Will it be warm, or will it be cold in Helsinki?
Here are average monthly temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year in Helsinki.
Here are average monthly temperatures in degrees Celsius throughout the year in Helsinki.
The winter high temperatures in January are in the 26-degree Fahrenheit range, and the lows go down to 16 degrees Fahrenheit.
The summertime high temperatures go up to 70 degrees Fahrenheit in July, and the lows go down to a somewhat chilly 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
The rainfall in Helsinki.
Here is average monthly precipitation, in inches, throughout the year in Helsinki, together with the yearly total. We see that late summer and early fall months are those with the greatest precipitation.
Here is average monthly precipitation in millimeters throughout the year in Helsinki, together with the yearly total.
Recommended videos, Finland.
Recommended videos, Helsinki Travel Guide 2021. Best places to visit in Helsinki, Finland in 2021.
Recommended videos, top 10 places to visit in Helsinki, Finland.
Recommended videos, Geography Now. Finland.
Recommended video, a super quick history of Finland.
Recommended video, Physical Geography Finland. Table of Contents, Finland.
Thanks for watching. Please watch some more of my great videos.